get it on air. There we go. It looks like we are now live. What is up, guys? What is up, YouTube? This might be a little bit of a short stream. I just got the notification on my phone that I went live. This might be a little shorter than the one I did last week, simply because I was up late last night playing board games with friends, and I'm not feeling super great today, but I still wanted to go live because I said I would. So yeah, if this is a little bit shorter than the last one, I apologize for that. My voice is kind of grovelly because of not feeling great. So yeah. How's it going, Yasir? Hammer, oh, wow. That's good, man, I think. I don't know, sweaty or just moist? How are you guys doing today? We got 8 people in here already. 3 thumbs up. That's what I like to see. People hitting that like button when they come into the chat. I like it. How are we doing today, guys? I have to keep my head right in the center of the screen because if I don't, my light will shine on our mirror back there, because I forgot that it gets late so quickly, or it gets dark so quickly now, and I didn't set up my lights, so I had to turn that thing on. What's up, Scott? How's it going? What's up, Mohammed? Hola. So yeah, we are hanging out. I have essentially done nothing today. Like I said, I don't feel great. Also, in the chat, if you guys are willing, let me know how everything sounds, like how the volume is going. I have this mic that I've had for like a year now, and I've never used it on a live stream, but I decided I wanted to try to use it today because I'm testing some stuff out for going live on Twitch, which I wanted to talk about a little bit before I get into answering questions. But let me know how this mic sounds, if it sounds better, worse, the same, if you don't notice a difference. If it sounds terrible, any of those things, let me know. I also just realized I'm looking at my stream now on YouTube, like I'm watching my own stream, and it mirrors the image, which I decided that I hate. Maybe, I don't think I can fix it, but whatever. So it mirrors the image, which is very interesting. I'm going to be chugging water during the stream to keep my throat from completely and totally dying, because that's a thing that might happen. Volume is pretty sharp, or volume's pretty good, kind of sharp. Yeah, I don't know if it's YouTube. It might be this mic. I got this mic, like I said, like a year ago. It was fairly cheap, but like decently reviewed, and I got it to do a podcast that I didn't end up ever releasing with a buddy of mine, and there were some problems with it as far as like the audio quality. Not because the audio quality was bad, it's just like it is very, very sensitive. So it might be the mic, and when I listen to this back afterwards, I'll make a decision about whether I want to keep using it or not, or look to upgrade to something else. But yeah, so what's up, David? How's it going? I've got to keep checking my phone again because I don't know what kind of messages I'll get, although it's after 5, so it's probably not going to be anything job related. But who knows? Maybe I've gotten messages later than 5 before about jobs. So I did want to talk to you guys. So I've mentioned Twitch a bunch recently, and lots of reasons why I've mentioned Twitch, because I enjoy video games and I would enjoy streaming them and hanging out with you guys while I stream them, because I like doing this like live stream interaction thing. But also there's programming channels on Twitch. And I've mentioned on this channel before that I'm not a tutorial channel. I don't want to do tutorials. I'm going to knock my mic over. I don't want to do tutorials. I talk with my hands too much to have a mic in front of me, I guess. But I don't want to do tutorials because like I'm still new at this. I know that like things that I do are still small, and like there will still be small errors in the stuff that I do. However, I have been thinking a lot about this lately, and I think before I start streaming games on Twitch, what I'm going to start doing is doing videos where I stream me coding. And I have one project that I want to build that I'll release for you guys to use as well. And it'll just be like a pretty simple thing that I'm building with React and Redux, that I don't need a backend for. It'll just be kind of a front end project that I will like have live on the internet for you guys to play around with as well. And I want to build that on stream. And so what I'm thinking about is starting a series called Coding and Coffee, where I wake up early every day and I go to Twitch and I stream coding, like me live coding for about an hour in the morning each day. And that'll keep me accountable to keep like coding and actually working on these projects that I have in my head, because I have 1,000 of them. And it'll be a way to hang out and interact with you guys every so often, like while I'm doing the code. And it should be a good time. So if you guys have a Twitch account, feel free to go over to Twitch. It's Aaron and Beta, all one word, over there as well. Check it out and follow my channel over there, and then we can see that happen. What's up, Chris Sean in the chat? How's California treating you, man? Abraham, thanks for the support, man. I do it for you guys. So, like, I'm just glad you guys are here. Coding and coffee is a sick idea. Thanks, man. Thanks. I would invite you to join, but it's going to be like 3 in the morning where you're at when I'm on there, because it's going to be real early. How can you practice programming, Captain Alpha? Man, there are a ton of places out there where you can go and you can practice. Like, if you just want to like have challenges, what's it called? Code Fights. Code Fights is a website that does like challenges every day. Hacker Rank is another one that does challenges. And then Project Euler has different challenges that you can go on, and you pick the language that you want to like use, and you just do these little challenges, and they give you like print out prime numbers from this to that or whatever it is, and you write functions to make those things happen. And they're really, really useful for like testing your skills. A lot of people spend a lot of time learning, and they don't spend a lot of their time building or practicing, and this is a good way to get practice in on those. So I would check out those websites. Project Euler was the first one I ever did, and it's a little bit more old school. Like, they just give you a challenge and then you try to fix it, or you try to like get at the problem. And then there are some more polished ones like Hacker Rank and Code Fights, those kind of things. Sounds like a cool idea. What about doing some stuff in vanilla JavaScript? Scott, I would love to do some stuff in vanilla JavaScript, and that is definitely something that, so I don't know how much I want to give away about the project I'm building, because I want it to be a little bit of a surprise. But basically, the first thing that I'm going to build on these live streams is going to be essentially a program to get you to like program more, to like build more stuff. And so vanilla JavaScript will play into that, and you'll see how in the near future. I'm still working out all the details in my mind and about like architecture and how I'm going to build it, but yes, I will get on that. Chris is going to wake up really early. Chris, you complain about drinking coffee, so I don't know. I don't know if you can do coffee and code, because you complained about it. What stack was I using in my previous job? So the job that I had before had, so it was a Rails app that had a Angular layer inside of the Rails app. And then that Angular layer was being converted to React. So that was what we were using there. We used Docker for like our development environment, AWS. So all of those technologies were mixed in. And then I did the website work there too. And that was built on Craft, which is a CMS similar to WordPress or Drupal, but not those things. And that used HTML, CSS, vanilla JavaScript, jQuery, and Twig, which is a PHP templating language. I'm glad I'm getting some good feedback on the coffee and code. I would love to see you guys come hang out. I know that the programming channels on Twitch aren't like super duper like popular or anything, but man, I just want to kind of get over there and work that out. I've been playing around with OBS to get that set up. I would love in the near future, when I have a job and can afford it, to get a box to be able to stream with my like mirrorless camera, because I can get clean HDMI out on that, as opposed to this like crappy webcam on my MacBook. But hopefully that'll happen soon, and then we can get that done. And then video games eventually, when I can do a dual setup with a video capture card. We'll see what happens. Coding Commanders, I don't like Docker. So I have problems with Docker, believe that. I've had plenty of fist fights with Docker. When it works, it can be cool. When it doesn't work, it can be really, really hard. I enjoy their icon though. Their like mascot, the whale. It's pretty dope. Let's see. I'm gonna knock the, I swear before the end of this stream, I'm going to knock this mic over. So would you code in React and the app would handle the rest, or am I completely off? So when I said that like the app that I'm going to build is going to be in React and Redux, like the first app. And that app is going to essentially be a way to stay motivated or to have ideas about what to build next. And those ideas, those things that you would be building next, can be built in a multitude of languages, not least of which would be vanilla JavaScript, no framework, no library, nothing, just, you know, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So I love vanilla JavaScript too, Coding Commanders. I So when I was first learning how to program, I fell in love with jQuery because it was quick and it was simple and it was easy. And then the more and more I studied about how heavy jQuery is and how hefty it is for the browser, and about all the stuff that jQuery comes with that nobody ever uses, and especially with what they're doing with like new JavaScript, right? ES6 and beyond, being able to use that in the browser with like Babel and stuff like that, like JavaScript has been beefed up and like made even better. So super duper. I didn't actually know there were programming channels. It's pretty cool. Yeah, if you go to Twitch and you go to creative, I think they have channels that aren't gaming and aren't the like IRL like vlog channels. And so they've got people on there who do like live streaming of painting and like writing and all kinds of different creative stuff. And one of the things there is programming. There's like video game development, 3D modeling they have channels for. It's pretty wild. You can kind of watch people do just about anything over there. So that's what I love about Twitch. Like it's like sharing life with people in a little bit of a different way and also being able to be productive while like hanging out. It's just super dope. Sorry, I meant to say for your previous job, since you said it was a Rails app, but you coded in React. Let's see. Where, so you would code and React and the app would handle the rest. So I can't say a lot about like the inner workings of the app that I worked at the place that I worked at before. So I'm trying to think of how I can phrase this without getting in trouble. What we did was we took care of the front end layer, and the front end layer did some heavy lifting programmatically. The Rails app was there for some older stuff and to handle a lot of the more maintenance or admin side of things when it came to the app. And then the React front end layer and the Angular layer that came before it handled a lot of the obviously like the user interaction and stuff like that. So that was all handled in those JavaScript things. And then there was also a Rails backend. So yeah, I didn't have to look at Rails too often. Every once in a while, I'd have to like look at HAML, which is the way that they write HTML in Rails, which is a nightmare. I don't know that it's a nightmare. I just didn't know it very well, so it was a nightmare for me. So that's kind of how that worked. Make a newsletter where you send your subscribers a different challenge every day for 30 days. Abraham, I've thought about like making a newsletter and making like a Discord channel and stuff like that. I'm just not 100% convinced that anyone would read it, but I do like to write. If you guys would want a newsletter, maybe I should do that. I am going to be launching a site for a new project that I'm going to kind of be the house of like the site is going to be the house of like my creative endeavors, I think, as well. So maybe I'll throw in a newsletter there too. Just want to say I love your channel so much. Thank you, Emily. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming out and hanging out. I just graduated from a full stack boot camp here in Birmingham, Alabama last night, and your videos have helped me so much these past few months. Dude, that's awesome. That's super awesome. Full stack boot camp in Alabama. What boot camp did you go to? I might know of it, maybe not. How is the job market down there in Birmingham, Alabama? I know that it's a pretty big city, so hopefully you can find a job pretty easy out there. I actually have a friend who works in Little Rock, Arkansas, as a developer, and the code scene out there isn't super great, but they're hiring. If you want to move to Arkansas, it's not too far away, I think, right? I don't know the South's geography too well, even though I live here now in North Carolina. Let's see. I'm a React Redux dev. I love React too, man. Like I learned Angular 1 as the first like library framework, or the first framework that I learned. And yeah, React Redux is super powerful. I think it's probably a little bit overused. Like we sometimes overthink the front end too much and put in a lot of tools there where they're not needed. But man, if you're building out like a full-fledged app and you're looking at libraries or you're looking at frameworks, React Redux is definitely at the tops right now. What would be a must-know for someone working as a WordPress developer? David, I think the most important thing to understand, like if you want to become a WordPress developer, like PHP is what it's run on. So you're going to want to know HTML, CSS, and PHP, and a good amount of JavaScript. But being able to like make like baller themes, being able to make like a baller integration into WordPress, baller like plugins, you're going to need to know PHP. So I would start with HTML, CSS, PHP, specifically PHP for WordPress because it's a little bit different. They have their own like templating tags, like specific to WordPress. But there's a lot of money out there freelancing with a WordPress or being a WordPress developer. So I don't think that it's an impossible thing or a dumb thing to learn. What's up, Casey? How's it going, man? Start a Discord channel. Maybe. Come out here to Seattle. Dude, I would love to move to Seattle. I'm not joking. Take this back. So I thought I would love to move to Denver, and then I visited Denver, and then I was like a little iffy on Denver. I love Denver still. I love Colorado. I love the mountains. I love the scenery. Not 100% sure I want to live there. I think that I want to live in Seattle. I think that it would be awesome to live in Seattle, but I don't know. I need to go out there first. So let me book the plane ticket to Seattle first and check it out, and then I'll see. But I've heard great things about it. I know the weather isn't the greatest, but y'all have a great soccer team, and you have a great football team. Hopefully you'll get a basketball team again soon. Those are all awesome things. It's just expensive, but where isn't? Casey, you're learning React right now? That's pretty, like, it's the way to be if that's what they're hiring for in your area, or if you're wanting to do freelance stuff, or if you're wanting to like remote work. Like, there's a ton of React jobs out there. And React's pretty easy to pick up, like at first, right? Like being able to throw a React app together isn't the hardest thing in the world compared to like what Angular 1 was or Angular 4 still currently is. Like, there's a bit of a steeper learning curve with the Angular side of things than there is with React. Building a React app the proper way, managing state the proper way, and if you're throwing Redux in there, that like barrier of entry on React and Redux goes way up, and it makes the learning curve a little bit harder. But you don't always need Redux. Like, a lot of people throw Redux into projects you don't need Redux for, and that's an unpopular opinion that I have, but I just think it's true. What JavaScript library framework should I learn after I have an okay grasp of vanilla JavaScript? Scott, so it depends on what your goals are. Scott, like, what framework you should learn is dependent upon two things. It's dependent upon where you live and what you want to learn the framework for. If you want to learn the framework to get a job, then go on Indeed, go on LinkedIn, and check what frameworks are popular in your area, right? So I can tell you to learn React and Redux all day because it's awesome, but if nobody's hiring for React and Redux in your area, then it doesn't make a lot of sense to learn it unless you want to learn development to do your own thing. And if you want to do your own thing, then learn whichever one interests you the most. For me, that's React and Redux and Vue. They both seem really interesting to me. If you're looking at jobs and everything is like Angular 1, like, there's still a ton of Angular 1 jobs out there, right? There are people that have legacy code in Angular 1 and they don't have the time to convert it over. Learning Angular 1 might be the way to go. Get that job in Angular 1, and because not a lot of people want to work in Angular 1 anymore. It's a dead technology, but there's legacy code out there. That might be your foot in the door, and then pick up your next skill as you're learning. So yeah, but the big two right now for jobs are Angular 4 and React Redux as far as the new ones go. Like, those are the two things that I see the most where I live, in places that I've looked for jobs elsewhere. Like, Vue is becoming really popular with developers, but I haven't seen a ton of people using Vue in production to build apps that are like going to get you paid. So learn that at your own risk, unless there's a ton of Vue jobs where you're at. What is up, new scientist? I haven't seen you in a long time, man. How's it been? 5 hours from Seattle. 5 hours from Seattle puts you where? Do you live in Washington State, Casey? Live in a town with 500 people. I'm too broke to move, so I'm at catch-22. Yeah, that is really rough. Like, your best bet, if you can't move and there's nobody that's hiring in your area, I mean, you can try to find remote work because there are companies that hire junior developers to work remotely, or there's the ability to possibly get freelancing gigs that will allow you to work remotely, and try to kind of build up some money and a portfolio that way, and then try to move to get a better job with like an actual company. I mean, those are the best options I can give you. I just can't speak to freelancing too well because I've never done it. I've just never done it or tried. As I burp. Yeah, the prices are nuts. Pay $2,400 in rent for a studio downtown. That's wild, man. The prices aren't that much different in Durham right now. Like, Durham is blowing up where I live. Like, you can get a studio apartment. I guess it is a lot different because you said a studio. You can get a studio apartment in downtown Durham for like $1,500 a month, but like $1,500 a month for a studio is buck wild anyway. Like that's not something that I'm looking to pay. Have you seen the campus development expanding east of 10th Street in Columbus? Lots of the people I know who are going after their MA at OSU keep telling me to come see the craziness. David, my man, talking Columbus with me. So I was in Ohio 2 weeks ago during the Ohio State-Iowa game. I did not go to campus to see it, but I was there earlier in the year for the Oklahoma game, and I did see campus, and it is wild to see what they've done to campus, especially down 10th Street. Like I used to live on 9th, right behind the Taco Bell that used to be there. I think that Taco Bell's still there. I used to live there, and it's wild what they're doing to Columbus. But I think like this is a conversation for 2 people on this stream, and nobody else cares about the geography of Columbus. But rest in peace, Twos, because I heard they closed it down. And if you guys haven't been to Columbus, it's a great city. Go down High Street. It's my favorite place I've ever lived. Takes forever to hook up, Redux State compared to React State. Once it's all hooked up, it's super nice. Yes, once the React and Redux like interaction and Redux's state management and action creators and all that stuff clicks in your mind, it's awesome and it makes a bunch of sense. It's just getting to that point is hard. I don't even know how to say that, Casey, but that's pretty wild. That name, Clickatat. Yeah. But homie, like just keep grinding and see what you can do. See how you can make some money out there, like remote or freelance. Just got accepted into a coding boot camp starting January 2018. So exciting for it. Watching this channel helped me make the decision to change it up. That's what I'm talking about, Muhammad. Where are you going to a boot camp at? And congratulations on getting accepted. And just like put everything you've got into it, and that will give you the best results. What's the best project structure that worked for you in React? Been doing it full stack for a year now with Redux, Router, and Thunk. Dude, I love Redux Thunk. Redux Thunk, when I was introduced to Redux Thunk and I understood it, it changed the way that I built React and Redux projects. If I'm doing a single page app and I don't need Router, then I just use like React, Redux, and Thunk. Those are the 3 things that I use. Sometimes I will use Redux Promise to resolve promises if I don't need Thunk, but I don't like the way they interact together, so I tend to not use them in the same project. But yeah, like pretty much the same stuff you're doing, man. React, Redux, and Thunk. What's the best project? Oh, I just read that one. I already have 5 projects done, actual websites, plus almost 2 projects in React. That's awesome, Casey. Like, just keep grinding, man. That's what it's about. I just have trouble keeping up with all of the frameworks libraries since it changes so fast. Do you have any websites that you use to stay current with everything? Honestly, Scott, like I follow people on YouTube. I check out Hacker News, and then Reddit, like JavaScript and Reddit Frontend are both awesome communities that post articles about that kind of stuff. Everything changes quickly when it comes to the hype train. Like everything's going to be hype, right? Like Node came out, Node blew up. It's the next best, greatest thing, right? And then React comes out, React's the greatest thing. Vue comes out, Vue's the greatest thing. And things blow up, and then they don't get as much attention, so they seem to die, but they don't actually die because people have built stuff in them. Honestly, like the best way to stay relevant with your skills is not to follow the hype trains around. The best way to stay relevant with your skills is to make sure you're learning the skills that people are using in jobs. If you're trying to get your first job. And then once you're there, then you can go out and learn the new hotness because you're making money. But until you get that first job, I wouldn't go out and learn the newest, hottest thing that nobody's hiring for. Let's see. Scott, at first it can be overwhelming, just need to grind hard. Then after a year, we kind of be up to date. Yeah, it does. Like the state of front end, like there are so many memes and like funny like flow charts and stuff like that out there right now because the state of front end is so completely different than what it was, I guess, 10 years ago. And I'm not speaking from experience because I didn't work in this industry 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 3 years ago even. But people that I trust, people that I know, kind of endorse or sign off on these memes about how crazy the world of JavaScript has gotten. And it is overwhelming. And it's overwhelming to somebody who's been in the industry for a while. It's overwhelming to somebody who's just getting into the industry because it was never like this before. But it is the way that it is right now. And it's exciting because like front-end jobs are getting more and more in depth with what they do. No longer is it just like the HTML, CSS, and a couple like things of JavaScript to make a form work, right? You can do so much more on the front end now than you could 10 years ago. So let's see. It's exactly how I said. So I said it right. My pronunciation skills are on point today, I guess. Covalent. I've never heard of that. Birmingham's tech scene is definitely evolving. Hopefully, I can land a job soon. Yeah, hopefully. And if it's evolving, that sounds like it might be growing. And if you can get it on the ground floor of some place as it gets bigger, like that's a super like exciting opportunity. SMU Coding Boot Camp here in Dallas, 6 months part-time program. I think that the SMU boot camp is ran by the same people who run the one that's at UNC Chapel Hill, which is right up the road from me. I know a couple people who went through that boot camp and loved it. So hopefully you have a good and similar experience. I like I sign off on boot camps. Not all of them are created equally. So hopefully you did all the research that you needed to and found it to be a good deal and found the people to be awesome, and then it'll work out for you, because that's all I ever hope. Oh, like middleware promises, right? So there's a like pre-built middleware called Redux Promise that you can use that resolves promises in the action creator. It's useful, but I also don't like it if you're using Thunk. How do you separate your components, smart versus dumb components? So, I mean, I make separate folders for individual components, and I put the container and the component in the same folder. Not everybody is that way. Some people like to have a containers folder and a component folder, and then separate out each individual component or container inside of those folders. Like I said, I typically go with a components folder that has individual components inside of a folder that are split up between their container and their component. You're stationed at Fort Bragg. That's it's in Myrtle Beach. I thought Fort Bragg was in Fayetteville, but I do love Myrtle Beach. They have all-you-can-eat seafood restaurants that have all-you-can-eat crab legs, and it's the greatest thing in the world. It will settle here in a few years. The harder it is to learn, the more you get paid. That is very true. That is very true. And I think it will settle down, right? Like they're still figuring out everything they can do with JavaScript and everything that like modern browsers can handle with modern computing and modern internet, right? 10 years ago, the internet wasn't as evolved, so computers couldn't handle everything. So you saw a lot more people using desktop apps because that's what it was. Now with the internet being able to handle a lot more, servers being able to handle more, browsers being able to handle more, you're seeing this evolution of web applications because they're possible to do a lot of the things that desktop apps did 10 years ago on the internet. And that's powerful because you're not storing that on your computer, and it brings into play a lot more integration and flexibility when it comes to collaboration and those kind of things, as opposed to just being dumped on your desktop. So I think that's one of the big reasons why these things are changing. We have more capability and the technology hadn't caught up to it yet. So now the technology is pushing to catch up to the capability of high-speed internet, faster processors, faster computing, better browsers that can handle more things. Let's see. Has to do with state. Pretty much if you need to change the state, you should make it a class/smart component. That is very true. I am looking in to WordPress using Understrap, which is like Bootstrap integrated into WordPress. It also uses Gulp, which blew my mind. You have any experience with Gulp, and do you use anything similar? So I used Gulp at my last job. No, I didn't. I didn't use Gulp. I used Grunt at my last job to compile CSS, or to compile Sass into CSS. And I believe Gulp is a tooling like that as well. I've never personally used Gulp, but I do know like there are a lot of things like that. I don't know what Understrap is exactly, but I know like Foundation has like a Foundation theme that you can run with all of the tooling you need to be able to use Foundation and Sass. And so it uses Grunt, I believe, too, to like compile it down and stuff like that. I personally am Foundation greater than Bootstrap kind of guy, just because I learned Foundation first. But yeah, like that tooling that you can use with WordPress is very similar to the tooling you can use with like static websites. You just need to like do a little bit more pre-work to get everything kind of set up. So by parent folder, holding all relevant features. I'm not sure what you mean in New Scientist. let's see. So by a parent folder holding all relevant features. So I have a parent folder for components in general, and then each one of the components that lives underneath that gets their own folder. Super exciting to be living during this time. So much to do and learn. That is 100% accurate, right? Because of the way things are evolving, that means there's new opportunity. And with new opportunity, like there comes growth and there becomes potential. And that's just like a super awesome time to be a part of all of this. Do I need to learn Gulp, and how does it compare to Webpack? Gulp is an older technology. It was popular with people, from my understanding. Okay, let me put this off the top. I am not a Gulp user, so everything that I say is only my general understanding of it. But using Webpack is kind of replaced using things like Gulp. That's my understanding. Here, let me just look up what Gulp is. I think Gulp is used to like minify stuff and to Gulp is a toolkit for automating painful or time-consuming tasks in your development workflow so you can stop messing around and build something, it says on their website. So Gulp is used as, it's used with Craft CMS, Docker. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never had to use Gulp in my React projects. So if you don't need it, you don't need it. If you want to use it because you're used to it, then use it. I always use Webpack, and I've used Yarn in the past too to do like compiling for like ES6 code and stuff like that. But yeah, Webpack is my preferred go-to because it's what I know when it comes to ES6 compiling and stuff like that. You'd just like to use something that's like Webpack with ES5 code. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, you can still use Webpack if you're writing ES5 JavaScript too, right? It doesn't have, like, it's not going to compile it. It's not going to compile ES5 down to ES5, but it'll bundle those files in a correct way, I would assume. Unless I don't know what I'm talking about, which is always a possibility. So what are you guys currently working on? What's your like current project or current learning thing that you're trying to get taken care of? Also, like, I have no sun left, so I'm getting darker by the minute, and I apologize for that. So that's, yeah, okay. So New Scientist, that's what I'm saying. I personally don't do that, and there are definitely people that do. I don't separate out the containers and the components in separate files inside of the overall feature file. So if I have a form and a form container, I will have both of those files living in the same folder, but not in separate folders. That may be me doing it wrong, but that's the way that I learned it. So working on a web application that would be a full stack website using React. What are you using for your backend, Casey? Making a blockchain exchange. That sounds awesome, New Scientist. Pre-coursework, which is pretty cool, getting introduced to HTML and CSS. Yeah, man, I remember pre-coursework. I did not finish mine, which was a mistake. I should have, but I got busy and I was trying to work a bunch so that I'd have money during the boot camp. Because mine was full-time, I had to quit my job. So yeah, I really needed to make money, and I didn't get all the way through like I should have. Gaza, you're teaching Django, so you're a Python kind of person doing web stuff with Python. I have never used Django, and I've never looked at a line of Python code, but I've heard it's pretty dope. And I know there's some people on YouTube who like are super evangelical when it comes to Python about being able to make money using it for like web apps and stuff like that. I've just never personally used it. The bootcamp that I went to did teach Python course, and those kids made some pretty awesome things for their final projects when it comes to like statistical analysis and data science, stuff like that. So yeah. Working on a database for bird nests in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, coding it in PHP and using MySQL for the database stuff. Charlotte, North Carolina, what's up, man? I have been to Charlotte a few times. It's a pretty awesome city. I was trying to get out there on Monday night for Monday Night Football. I could have had free tickets, and no one wanted to go because it was a Monday and everybody had to work on Tuesday, except for me because you know what my current situation is. So yeah, I missed out on going to Charlotte that night, but I have had good experiences in Charlotte. It's not wrong to move to a feature first project structure. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I like the thing is like in development, like there's so many like things that are said to be wrong that are people's opinions about whether they're right or wrong, and there are a lot of things that say no, like don't do it this way. And sometimes they're right, and sometimes it's just opinions, and that's just part of the world we live in, right? Not using a backend yet. I don't know Node. I know PHP and MySQL. I don't want to use PHP with React. Yeah, I'm just using a JSON file with that. That makes sense. Yeah, I don't know Node either very well. It's something that I need to pick up, but I'm currently trying to build out this front end project, so it's not something that I'm picking up on right this second. Got introduced to programming with Python. I'm leaning on it my own on the side. I'm learning it on my own on the side. Yeah, a lot of people get introduced to programming with Python because, you know, it has a lot of like accessibility. Like it's easy to pick up as a first programming language from what I understand. So a lot of people get introduced to development with Python. And I think that's super awesome. It's just not something that I've ever looked at. About to learn Node here in 2 to 3 weeks. Let me know, man. Let me know if you find some good courses on it because I am down to check it out. You were at that game, Scott? Dude, I would have been at that game too if I could have found one person to go with me, but nobody wanted to go. I'm not a Panthers fan, full honesty. I'm a Bengals fan. I'm from Ohio. I'm from Southwest Ohio, so I have to be an Ohio team fan. But if I had to pick a second team, like I like the Panthers. I like Cam. I like Cam a lot. I'm sad to see Curtis Samuel get hurt. I have both Cam and Christian McCaffrey. And I had Kelvin Benjamin, who's no longer a Panther, on my fantasy team, so I rooted for the Panthers a lot. But yeah. Link to my portfolio. The link to my portfolio leads to a 404 because I took it down because I made it right after I graduated from the boot camp. And I have redone it and not relaunched it. Python is easy and great syntax. Yeah, that's what I hear, man. Andrew Mead's course is great. I like Andrew Mead's courses. I had my first introduction to React and Redux was through Andrew Mead. Then I got the Stephen Grider advanced course. I like the way both of those guys teach. What's up, Real Tough Candy? What habits from your writing creative life have you been able to implement into your coding life? Being able to sit at a computer for a really long time, staring at a screen and not talking to anybody is the most important skill that I brought over from writing to coding. I'm a social person. I like to talk. I like to be out in public when I write because then I can be around people while I'm writing and still feel like I'm part of, you know, the world. But being able to sit at a computer is definitely one of the things that I like took from writing to the development world. Another one is like just being able to like, so especially when it comes to like personal projects and stuff like that, right? I think about writing, I have ideas and I go out and I make those things. I have ideas about worlds and I go out and I build those worlds as a writer. And having a brain that functions that way, I think has helped on coming up with ideas for projects to build because I have an idea and then I go out and I build that project. So I think that's something that's kind of pushed me along in my development career for sure. Also being able to drink like a ton of coffee, like literally like pots and pots of coffee a day, is something that I picked up on when I was a writer because I wanted to be like Jack Kerouac or whoever. I don't know if he drank coffee, but like, you know what I mean? Like I wanted to be like the writer who drinks coffee and sits in Starbucks and like makes a screenplay. And so coders drink a lot of coffee too. So luckily I already had that in the bag before I started development. So Stephen Grider's course, did you take his first course or his advanced course? Because I didn't take his original course, but I took the advanced one and I liked that one pretty well. Hi, Shadi. I hope I said that right. If not, feel free to correct me. Dude, if I don't have music, I can't get in the zone. I love listening to music when I code. I mentioned that in my last video. What kind of music do you guys listen to when you code, by the way? I would love to hear that. I tend to listen to more of like alt rock, alt pop, alt country when I'm coding, and like stuff that's a little bit more mellow. I really like a lot of like synth music when I'm coding sometimes, the less lyrics when I'm doing certain things I like, and then I like lyrics during other parts of when I'm coding. And then, like I said in the video last time, if I'm stuck on something, I put on like aggressive, like hip hop rap music from the 90s and 2000s. Like I will put on Tupac, I will put on Dre, I will put on NWA, and I will just get mad and not think about coding. And then poof, things happen. I just put on music and write code. I have no idea why it helps me, but it does. I have anger problems when I can't solve a problem. I feel you on that. Music seems to help me stay calm. That's legit, man. Hey, Aaron, what advice would you give to a 14-year-old wanting to start front-end web development? Go sign up for Codecademy, take their HTML and CSS course if you don't know any code at all, and see if it's something you're into. If it is something you're into, then continue down those paths. If you have money to spend, or if your parents are willing to justify spending some money on it, then I would definitely take a look at Treehouse. It's $25 a month, and they have paths there for you to learn. Also, I would check out to see if any of the schools in your area or surrounding like cities have like after school coding programs. And if they don't, check like meetups and stuff and see if there's like a young person like coding meetup. There's one in the Triangle where people from the age of like, I think they have one for like 8 to 12 and then 12 to like 18 to get together and learn how to code. The boot camp that I went to that is no more used to do like kids classes. See if there's any kind of like places like that in your area doing like teenager like coding classes and stuff like that, because you can learn a lot from Codecademy, you can learn a lot from Treehouse, but having someone there like explaining stuff to you in person is really good to have as well. So you aren't lucky like I was when I was 14 and I got into HTML and CSS because I wanted my MySpace profile to look dope, and you can't change your Facebook profile or your Twitter profile or your Instagram profile and write your own CSS and HTML with that, which sucks. So the first course for Guidance course. Yeah, I didn't take that one, so I can't really tell you if it was good or bad, but I like the advanced one. I think he's a pretty decent dude when it comes to as an instructor. Ed Sheeran. I ain't gonna hate on some Ed Sheeran music when you're coding. I can get down on some Ed Sheeran. I'm a big lyrics guy. If you have good lyrics, I'm into you. And Ed writes some pretty awesome lyrics. So would I slap my dad for a milli? I would slap my dad for a milli. He would understand. Like, he would slap me for a milli. So I don't know. It's not even a hard question, man. Also, he'd be able to take it. Like, he's a big dude. My dad's 6'3" and like 200 and something pounds. He's bigger than I am. So what am I going to do? Synthwave is great. Synthwave, I'm assuming that's a genre of electronic music. You're gonna have to teach me about it. Daft Punk is a regular country and indie stuff as well. So weird. Like, I'm the same with the lyrics or no lyrics thing. Yeah, it's like it depends on the mood I'm in is what I listen to. I've recently got into country music because my wife is into country music and I live in North Carolina, so I guess I like kind of have to. So I listen to some country stuff. If the lyrics are good, and I listen to it. I like to listen to indie rock, hardcore, old school screamo music from the early 2000s, metalcore, but for some reason I like to listen to soundscape rock while I code. Homie, I feel you on the emo, core, screamo stuff, man. I was part of that scene growing up in Dayton, Ohio. I knew people who were in Hawthorne Heights. I knew the people who were in the Devil Wears Prada. I knew the people who were in Miss May I. So if you know any of those bands, I knew those guys from back in the day. They all kind of came up in the same scene that I came up in. Hit the Lights was a pop punk band that came up over there. Senses Fail, yeah, dude. I actually was literally like, I have an acoustic guitar. I still play music from time to time. I played guitar when I was younger. And I was playing a little Senses Fail riff earlier, like trying to kind of deconstruct it and make it into a more like mellow acoustic riff. Yeah, man, I was all a part of that scene back in the day. Do you think I could try applying for some junior position jobs? I'm mainly working with PHP, Laravel, MySQL, etc. Example, one of my sites I made recently. Yeah, man. If you think you have the skills, go ahead and try it. I like your IP address. I wish I could donate for your channel, but I'm from Syria. Shadi, what part of Syria are you from? I was just over pretty close to Syria. My wife is Lebanese, and I was in Lebanon for a couple of weeks, man. I was over there in Baalbek, and Zakhli, if you know any of those places. They're not too far from the Syrian border. Spent some time in Tripoli, some time in Beirut. So yeah, man, you don't need to give me money. I promise you, you don't need to give me money. Is that near Lebs at all? I'm glad it's safe there. That's really good. Yeah, man, I was just over there, like in the like early or late spring, early summer. The Get Up Kids, the early November, brand new, dude. Yeah, I brand new has always been my favorite band, and I'm really, really upset that Jesse is like not a good person. Um, because I idolized those guys, and so like that sucks, man. Levi, you know the Devil Wears Prada? Yeah, man. I know those guys. I can tell you stories if you want to know. Um, Musicians make great coders. I am by no means a musician, man. By no means a musician. But I play guitar every once in a while. And I play guitar in some songs. I see, man. You put the site on VPS. I feel you. Um, How's the WordPress site going? The WordPress site is going, man. It's frustrating. I feel you when you say you don't like WordPress because I don't love WordPress, but it's a necessary evil for what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to get it done. The problem with my brain and the problem with like my writing brain, like, right, Candy, you asked me this question. The problem with my brain is that I have so many things that I try to do them all, and then I never get anything done. And I just need to focus. Where can I master JavaScript, not the framework? I think it's best to master it. Homie, okay, so I have mentioned this course a lot in the past and I haven't done it in a while. A guy named Wes Boss. First off, it's W-E-S, Wes Boss, B-O-S-S. Is there two S's in his name? I'm going to look it up right now. I know my Wes Boss with one S. He has something called JavaScript 30. It's 30 days of coding challenges using only vanilla JavaScript. It's super awesome. Check that out. It will teach you so much about JavaScript. Also, there's a course on Udemy called JavaScript Understanding the Weird Parts. If you're looking at more of like theoretical under the hood kind of JavaScript stuff to understand and learn, that's a really good course. I would check that out as well. I think it's like 15 bucks. I may link it in the description of my videos. I don't know if I do or not, but if I don't, check it out, man. It's awesome. Let's see. How is the job hunt going? The job hunt is ongoing. That's how it's going. I've got some final stuff on Monday with a company. I've got some initial stuff with a company on Tuesday. I had a thing yesterday. So we will see. It's kind of up in the air. I will say it's not the best time to try to find a development job as far as time of the year goes. With the holidays coming up and stuff like that, a lot of people go into code freezes, especially like smaller companies go into code freezes sometimes in December because a lot of people are going to be out on vacation and things like that. And the kind of companies that I typically apply for are the smaller to like medium-sized, like startup to past startup to like venture kind of companies because they make the products that I want to work on. I'm not being super picky this time, but you know, those are the kind of companies that I've applied to. And I've gotten some feedback that if I wanted to wait until after January 1st, I'd have a job, which sucks because I don't want to wait until after January 1st. So it's still going on, man. That 30 days of JavaScript and the weird parts course were awesome. Went through them myself. Yes, dude. The Understanding the Weird Parts was the first course I ever bought on Udemy, and I bought it right after I got out of the boot camp because I wanted to, like, the boot camp teaches you a lot of like really practical skill, but they don't teach you a lot of under the hood stuff. And if you're looking for under the hood stuff, Understanding the Weird Parts is such a good course. And anything Wes Boss makes is like just dope. Like that dude is a rock star. So if you see anything of his, check it out because it's going to be worth your time and money. His courses are a little bit more expensive than what you can find on Udemy, but I would suggest sign up for his newsletter because they do go on sale sometimes and he shares links through like his newsletter and stuff. Also, he's a super dope follow on Twitter, so I would follow him on Twitter as well. Have a good one, Casey. You're out. So much time. I feel you, man. Work on your projects. Get stuff done. Hustle. Is the responsibilities at work make you afraid? In the sense that like they don't like responsibilities don't make me afraid, right? I like having responsibilities. I like having the weight on my back and that sort of stuff, right? What what bothers me about development, or what worries me about development, is whether or not I'm a fraud, whether or not I can get things done, whether or not I can finish stuff. And I think that's pretty common, especially for people who are self-taught or boot camp grads. They didn't go through a CS degree. They don't have that kind of background. I didn't work on computers as a kid. I didn't hack away at stuff as a child. I made my MySpace profile look awesome in my mind, but like that's the only coding experience I had coming into the boot camp, essentially. And so it scares me that I'm not actually a developer. Like, those are real life concerns. Imposter syndrome is a thing that runs through the tech community from the top to the bottom. And so those are the things that scare me. But having somebody like make you want to hurry up, like finish your code quicker, stuff like that, that doesn't bother me. I like responsibility. I like having 100 things to do and 10 things worth of time to do it. That gets me motivated, man. Have a good one, Levi. I will see you soon. Imposter syndrome is real. Yeah, dude, that's like, it can beat you into submission. Don't let imposter syndrome beat you into submission. Like, make sure you realize that you are who you are and you picked this for a reason and you can do it. You don't have to be a genius to do this stuff. If you did, there would be 500 million more jobs, because nobody would be able to do it, because there are only so many geniuses in this world, right? How many employees does Google have, right? They can't all be geniuses. I'm sure they're all very intelligent, but you don't have to be like freaking the best. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'm making sense right now, but you don't have to be the top 1% to be a developer, because if that were the case, then there would be so many open positions because nobody could fill them. Just checked out Wes Boss. How have I never heard of him before? Yes, dude. Like, his energy, his passion, his abilities, like, they're all so good. Like, the guy is like I said, the perfect combination. What's the format of 30 Days of JavaScript? Does he just give you challenges, which you try to do yourself, or do you code along with him? So he does the coding with you and sets it up so that it's like a course. It's like a teaching moment. And there's like the things where like finish this and then check the answers, and he'll go over how like he built it and why that's right or wrong or however it is. And it's worth your time. It's free. Like, it's free. Do the first day's thing, make that little drum kit, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. But you didn't waste any money on it, at least. So I think I'm going to get off of here now, guys. Winding down a little bit. Like I said, my throat is just not feeling good. I'm just not feeling great. I went 52 minutes today, which is probably about 30 minutes longer than I thought I was going to be able to go. If you missed the beginning of the stream, feel free to check it out afterwards. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Like, honestly, the fact that like anybody shows up to these things still kind of blows my mind. So if you guys have any more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. It's at 937Aaron. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. It's getting dark out here. I may just go to bed now because, I don't know, my throat's going to destroy me or whatever. But honestly, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Keep checking my Twitter and the YouTube channel for information about the Twitch streams that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I've said that 16 times. I don't know why I keep saying it, but I will see you guys again very soon. Bye. And it's awkward when I do that in live streams instead of videos, because then I have to hit the stop button. But bye.